Welcome back to France 24. It's business time. Let's start with a look at the markets with Will Edwards.
Hello, Aurora. Yes, the European markets are just opening up and not many fireworks so far. Let's take a look at how things are. Pretty flat, actually, across the board. But we have got a couple of pieces of data out so far this morning. Spanish GDP down 0.7% in the fourth quarter of last year. That's more than expected. And for 2012 as a whole, it was down 1.37%, continuing to contract the Spanish economy there, with the unemployment at 26%. And the Swedish fashion group H&M has announced its profits were down 1% in the fourth quarter due to a strong krona in Sweden there. Let's take a look at how things have been in Asia as well. And actually, it's been a stronger performance there, as you can see. The Nikkei in particular helped by, well, firstly, Yahoo Japan. That company ended up 17% improved on improved advertising revenues, and mobile carriers including Docomo and SoftBank, they announced positive results as well.
Well, we're going to stay with the phone industry because it seems to be BlackBerry's last chance to turn around its falling market share.
Yeah, let's take a look at its market share over the last couple of years, because it really has been in free fall, I should say. You can see it was around 20% just a couple of years ago, and now it's closer to the 5% mark. Well, they've got new products coming out today, and to tell us more about this, we're now joined by Dexter Tillien, an analyst in the telecoms industry for IHS Global Insight. Thanks very much for being with us, Dexter. Firstly, how have BlackBerry gone wrong over the last couple of years? What have they been doing wrong to go from a market dominant position to where they are now?
Well, they used to be the leader in the smartphone industry because of the strength in terms of messaging. So the first BlackBerry device was the first device where you can actually check your email. But after the iPhone and the launch of other devices, they kind of missed that revolution. So missing the way towards more application and more services on the smartphone, and kind of missing the way towards touchscreen devices as opposed to the QWERTY keyboard, which BlackBerry has become famous for. So they kind of lost their way in that sense, and they've been overtaken by the lack of Apple and Samsung in that market.
And so they're going to look to redress this balance in today's announcements. What can we expect on this front?
Well, we're expecting two devices which should be available within the next 3 months around the world. The first one will be the Z10, which would be an all-new touchscreen device, and the other one, the X10, which will be a mix between an hybrid between touchscreen and a QWERTY keyboard. The main new thing is that they're going to be launching the new operating system, BlackBerry 10, which is their first new operating system in about 3 or 4 years, which is leveraging their QNX operating system that they bought a few years ago. It's late in coming. They've been talking about it for about 2 years, and it's very much the last sense saloon to make a relevant impact into the smartphone market and not fall further behind the rivals.
So 2 new handsets and a brand new operating system. You've seen the previews of this. In your opinion, do they have what it takes to get back on top, or at least compete with Apple, Samsung and the Android ecosystem?
They're good devices. I mean, we are waiting a few more details. I think pricing is going to be key in order to compete against the other high-end devices, but it's not sufficient for the BlackBerry to be just good. They kind of will need to be exceptional if they want to kind of regain market share towards the kind of retail customer and also the business customer. I think if we take the example of Nokia and the Lumias are good devices, but Nokia has struggled to make an impact with the first 2 iterations of the Lumias. So it's a very, very tough market to compete against the leadership of both Apple and Samsung in that market worldwide.
Okay, Dexter Tillien, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's focus now on the saga of the Monte dei Paschi Bank. The world's oldest lender needs a €3.9 billion bailout following errors which critics say were linked to murky political dealings. Italy's finance minister, however, has been defending the government's handling of the affair.
Monte dei Paschi is the oldest bank in the world, but its future is uncertain. It's counting on a €3.9 billion package of state support, but taxpayers are angry. At the heart of the scandal, Monte dei Paschi's 2007 acquisition of its rival Antovineta for €9 billion, shrouded in allegations of corruption and bribery, and $720 million in losses that were covered up until last year that date back from 2006 to 2009. The Bank of Italy has been criticized for poor oversight, but on Tuesday, the finance minister defended the institution.
I think the Bank of Italy's supervision over the Monte dei Paschi Bank has been continuous, attentive, appropriate, and it has intensified over the years.
A day earlier, Mario Draghi, head of the European Central Bank, made an unscheduled flight to Milan to brief the finance minister. From 2006 to 2011, Draghi was governor of the Bank of Italy. The bank has close political ties to the left, a point center-right politicians have underlined. Monte dei Paschi is known in Italy as Daddy Monte for its huge influence, and authorities are investigating just how far that reach extends into the financial and political spheres, results that could have implications in next month's elections.
Right, we're going to stay in Europe, Will, because Spain's regions are asking for more money from the government.
This is Catalonia in particular, actually, Spain's biggest and most profitable region, but they still say they need a further bailout. Now, last August, they asked for €5 billion. Now they're saying they need a further €9 billion. Now, of course, the irony with the timing of this is that it comes just a month after Catalonian leaders pledged to hold a referendum on independence for the region. So some critics would say that it seems that actually they do rather need the federal government after all. But separatists would answer that actually the financial crisis, which we've been hearing about with those disappointing GDP figures earlier just a few minutes ago, they say it's the fault of the central government anyway, and so it should be up to the central government to bail them out. But overall, the crisis has increased support for the independence movement.
I wonder if they're going to hold that referendum in the end. Will, what does Boeing need to solve its Dreamliner nightmare?
Well, they've been offered help from one of the best-known entrepreneurs in the US, Elon Musk, with his rather fantastic name. He's the man who set up PayPal, and he also went on then to found the Tesla electric car company. Now, Boeing, of course, has been having problems with its 787 Dreamliner based on the batteries, the lithium-ion batteries, which are in that plane. They've been catching on fire. Elon Musk, he says, of course, he used to work for this Tesla electric car company. They use big electric batteries, and so he might be the man to sort this out. It does rather remind me of when Kevin Costner got involved with the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, offering technological solutions, except that Elon Musk really has got quite a pedigree. He now runs the SpaceX company, which is the one that managed to ship a cargo container to the International Space Station on a contract for NASA just last year. So maybe he does know what he's doing. Boeing haven't commented on whether they've returned his calls.
That was Will Edwards. Thank you very much with the business news. Great as always. Well, that wraps up this edition. For more news and analysis, simply stay tuned to France 24. Yeah, there's no music. This is weird.
In the Democratic Republic of Congo, they call him the doctor who heals women. With his staff, gynecologist Denis Mukwege has operated on some 40,000 women raped and mutilated in Kivu. These women have begun to put their ordeal behind them and started to rebuild their lives. Today, Mukwege is continuing his fight to break the silence on the plight of women and children in the region. Reporters, Thursday, 9:45 p.m. Paris time, on France 24.